track with free tutoring, a caring faculty, and one-on-one attention. For more information on how to reach your graduation goal, visit learnforlife.org. That's LEARN, the number 4, LIFE.org. Or enroll today by calling 877-360-LEARN. That's 877-360-LEARN.
With your Wednesday news, I'm Jim Miller, CNBC News, KCAA 1050 AM and 106.5 FM, the station that leaves no listener behind. Los Angeles police tried to determine if a 15-year-old girl was the victim of a kidnapping in South Los Angeles. According to officials, the girl said she was kidnapped, drugged, and sexually assaulted by a man she met at a fast food restaurant in South Los Angeles overnight. She reportedly was heard screaming at an apartment. Neighbors apparently went to aid her. An unidentified Redlands woman killed in a head-on crash with a tractor-trailer along Highway 395 in Adelanto over the weekend. Late Sunday night, the unidentified 68-year-old driving a car north on Highway 395 north of Desert Flower Road when the vehicle crossed over the double yellow lines under the path of a tractor-trailer. She was taken to Victor Valley Global Medical Center, where she later died. A passenger was taken to the same hospital, but that person's condition not released. The Jerry L. Pettis Memorial VA Medical Center sent letters to more than 1,700 patients asking them to be tested for tuberculosis, as they may have been exposed to the bacterial infection while being treated there. Letters went to some patients treated at the Loma Linda VA between June 1st and October 27, who may have had contact with an employee who is now being treated for tuberculosis. The risk of exposure of the general public, not a public health concern. A Murrieta Valley High School teacher has been placed on administrative leave while she's being investigated for inappropriate contact with a student. The teacher being investigated by the Murrieta Police Department. Murrieta Valley High School principal says notified the parents, teacher's name being withheld because she has not been arrested or charged with a crime. That's your news. I'm Jim Miller, CNBC. KCAA 1050 AM and 106.5 FM, the station that leaves no listener behind.
Time for your KCAA AM 1050 and FM 106.5 traffic report. I'm Erin Brinker. In Mira Loma, there's an accident. The three lanes are blocked on the 60 westbound after Country Village Road, Mission Road. The 60 West just past Country Village Road. An injury crash is blocking the carpool in 2 left lanes. It's backed up now from Pyrite. In the Cajon Pass, there's an accident. The right lane is blocked on the 15 southbound after Oak Hill Road. In Lake Elsinore, there's an accident. The shoulder is blocked on the 15 southbound after Lake Street. The SIG alert has been cleared on the 15 south past Lake Street. All lanes are now open. Cleanup from an earlier tanker truck fire continues on the right shoulder. The drive is slow from Indian Truck Trail. In Murrieta, stop-and-go traffic on the 15 southbound between the 215 and Rainbow Valley Boulevard. In Paris, an accident has cleared on the 215 northbound at the Ramona Expressway, Gahalco Expressway. The 215 north before Ramona Expressway, a crash has been cleared from the left lane. The drive is slow from Nuevo Road. And finally, in Ontario, slow traffic on the 60 westbound between the 15 and Archibald Avenue. The 60 west is slow from the 15 to Archibald. This has been your KCAA AM 1050 and FM 106.5 traffic report. I'm Erin Brinker.
From the KCAA Weather Center, I'm Ron Pritchard for this morning. Sunny and a high near 76. Clear tonight with a low near 47. Sunny and 77 Thursday. Patchy fog, partly cloudy skies, a low near 46. Thursday night, Friday, patchy fog, mostly sunny skies, a high near 66. Friday night, mostly clear, low near 41. Saturday, sunny, a high near 73. Saturday night, partly cloudy, a low near 44. Sunday, mostly sunny, high near 74. Sunday night, partly cloudy, a low near 42. Monday, mostly sunny, high near 72. Monday night, partly cloudy, a low near 44. Tuesday, sunny and a high near 74. That's your weather forecast for this hour from the station that leaves no listener behind, NBC News Radio, AM 1050, KCAA.
KCAA, where every day is a great day. KCAA, Loma Linda.
Good morning. I'm Erin Brinker.
And I'm Tobin Brinker.
And we are on the Brink, the morning show on KCAA AM 1050 and FM 106.5. You're looking very professorial today, Tobin.
Thank you. I like to dress it up every now and then.
And your students be like, Mr. Brinker, you're in a suit today.
Well, I don't have to run after school today. So when I don't have to run, I can dress it up a little bit, which is nice.
So how far did you go yesterday?
6 miles yesterday, 6 miles on Monday. I'll go another 6 on Thursday. Going to do a half marathon this weekend. So my goal is to do 25 miles a week for this month, so that'll get me up to 100 miles this month.
Holy smokes.
So I'm pushing up the distance.
You're
'cause
kicking it up.
I got to get ready.
It's right around the corner.
It is.
Are you nervous?
I am a little nervous, but I feel like I can do this. I just got to make sure I listen to my body, keep myself healthy.
I wonder, because the last 2 marathons you've run, the last 2 LA marathons, both times have been very, very warm.
Yeah.
And now they moved it up a month. And so I wonder how you'll do when the temperature is not hopefully boiling.
Yeah, I tend to run better when it's cooler. So I'm hopeful that will help me to bring my time down, feel a little more comfortable while I'm running,
Yes. Definitely.
Yeah.
So before we get started, as I always do, I want to let everybody know all the ways they can listen to this show and every show on KCAA. Of course, you can find us at 1050 on the AM dial. You can find us at 106.5 on the FM dial. You can find us at kcaaradio.com, and there you'll find the links to all of our social media, Twitter, LinkedIn, Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube. You'll find a button to click to listen directly online. You'll also see our embedded Ustream feed. If you have an Android device, you can listen at kcaaexpress.com. If you've got an Apple device, you can listen with the TuneIn app. And if you have none of the above, you can listen by calling 832-999-1050. That's 832-999-1050. Got to say good morning to Brandon McCormick in our booth. How you doing, Brandon?
Good morning. I'm all right. How are you guys?
Good. Yeah, every time she says Brandon in the booth, it makes me feel like, is he caged in? What's the deal over
But
there?
you are in the booth.
I know.
I was about to say it's a little bit caged in.
It is an enclosed cubicle.
Yeah.
But you get the nice view of the mall.
Yeah, I do. And there's a window to you guys, so
Exactly.
It's all that matters as long as we can see each other.
Exactly.
And you've got all the technical gizmos. Now, as we get into the Christmas season, you've got to find some good Christmas sound effects, and then periodically, just in the middle of something, just drop in like a,
well, we're going to be talking about a
jingle
serious
bell
subject,
or-
and you're going to hear jingle, jingle,
I was
jingle.
about to say, do it completely inappropriately.
Please don't.
just to add some of that seasonal spice to our show.
Yeah. I do like Christmas music, though.
Yes.
I do like Christmas music, so... and I don't mind some jingle bells every now and then, but please not at inappropriate times.
Well, I just mentioned it because we walked in this morning, and the studio really is now all decked out for the season.
It
right?
really is. It looks great.
We've got the lights up. We've got the tree branches here on our little workspace that to decorate it. It looks pretty. It looks nice. I feel festive.
So from festive to frightening, Russia is accusing or has accused Turkey's Erdogan of involvement with the ISIS oil trade. Turkish President Erdogan and his family are quote-unquote involved in ISIS's illegal oil trade and personally benefit from it. This is what Russia is alleging, and they allege this Wednesday today. Turkey is the main destination for oil stolen from its legitimate owners, which are Syria and Iraq. Russian Deputy Defense Minister Anatoly Anatov told journalists in Moscow. Turkey resells this oil. The appalling part about that is the country's top political leadership is involved in the illegal business, President Erdogan and his family. Russian military officials displayed satellite images that they said showed columns of tanker trucks being loaded with oil at installations controlled by ISIS in Syria and Iraq, and then crossing the border into Turkey. Antonov, sorry, I was mispronouncing it, Antonov, did not say what evidence Russia had of Erdogan's involvement, an allegation that the Turkish leader has previously denied. In the West, no one has asked questions about the fact that Turkish President's son heads one of the biggest energy companies, or that his son has been appointed energy minister, Antonov said. What a marvelous family business. He added, we understand that some of the Turkish leaders, notably Mr. Erdogan, will not step down and will not admit anything. I would like to emphasize that Erdogan's resignation is not our goal. It's up to the people of Turkey to decide.
So this thing actually started up yesterday when Putin made the claim about this at the Global Warming Summit. He made some comments to the media about Turkey's involvement with helping ISIS with the oil and talking about his downed pilot, saying that that's what they were targeting, and that's why the Russian pilot was shot down by Turkey, is because Turkey didn't want them interfering with this oil trade. And then Erdogan came back with a slam and basically said, you're lying and you should step down, and if I'm lying, I'll step down, and you better come up with some proof because you don't have the proof. Well, now Russia has said, well, we'll call you on that. Here's the proof. We've got satellite photos. And I think this is going to force the United States and other places to look at this more closely, and it will certainly strain the NATO alliance if, in fact, it's shown that Turkey's involved. And if if they can show a link to Erdogan's son, who is the energy minister and runs this energy company, then it gets real dicey. And is the president going to have to president of Turkey going to have to arrest his own son?
He's not going to do that.
Yeah, or will he be ousted by his people, or will the people of Turkey decide that, hey, we don't want to be a part of this Western coalition, and we've got to do what's best for us?
Well, and Erdogan is no friend of the West.
Yeah, I know.
He is much more radical than Turkish presidents have been in quite a long time.
Yeah.
And Turkey's always been, they've been the gateway, right, between the East and the West, and they've been friendly. They're a member of NATO for a reason. They've been friendly to the West.
Well, so much of Turkey's income comes from tourism, and if they allow themselves to get embroiled in this and they become another hotspot, right? If, let's say, Russia decides to engage militarily with Turkey, this is how this thing spreads and grows. And so this has got to get resolved. And hopefully the United States, France, and some of these other Western countries will begin to engage on this issue because this is not good.
ISIS sees itself as a state providing an education and welfare system, which means the group has high running costs. 2 U.S. counterterrorism officials told NBC News in July that the amount of money ISIS can earn from selling and smuggling oil and gas is roughly $8 to $10 million a month. Turkey is part of a U.S.-led coalition of countries fighting ISIS in Syria and Iraq. Russia, meanwhile, supports Syrian President Bashar Assad and has bombed his opponents. He's really not going after ISIS. Putin isn't. He's going after the other rebels.
But ISIS as well. I mean, he's kind of hitting a whole bunch of different people, and that's where I think the U.S. and some of the Western allies are upset because they want him to just focus on ISIS because they want Assad out, and Russia obviously has different.
No, Russia is an ally of Assad.
Yeah.
So it's heating up. But if you step back and look at it, it's these two presidents are going, nuh-uh, you did that. No, I didn't. Can't make me. It's that. It seems it's it's this playground stuff. But although much higher stakes.
Yeah. Well, and you say higher stakes. It actually, in some ways, reminds me of the Cuban Missile Crisis, where the United States basically had these satellite photos, that we then presented and said, hey, look, this is really happening. Because Russia was basically saying, well, you can't stop us. We're not doing anything.
Right.
And then we had to go to the world and say, no, this is legit. Look what they're doing,
Yes.
And I think that's what Russia's done here to Turkey is they've basically, this is a smackdown. When you bring the satellite photos in, and it won't be, I don't think it'll be too difficult to begin to connect the dots to Erdogan's son if he is in fact involved, or if people in the government or administration are kind of looking the other way.
Well, it's 6:15. It's time for a break. I'm Erin Brinker.
I'm Tobin Brinker.
We are on the Brink, the morning show on KCAA AM 1050 and FM 106.5. We'll be right back.
You're listening to KCAA, your good neighbor along the way.
What is San Bernardino going to do with the Carousel Mall? Keep track of the mall development and more local news in the San Bernardino City News. Local sports, education, business, and entertainment news in print and online at sanbernardinocitynews.com.
KCAA AM 1050 and 106.5 is proud to announce that we are a collection station for Random Act of Kindness, an annual toy drive coordinated by Music Changing Lives in Redland. This year, Random Act of Kindness is in special need of gifts for teens, such as electronics, music instruments, bicycles, remote control vehicles, and shoes. Smaller ticket items include books, board games, jewelry, and DVDs. Clothing items are always in need as well, and if you'd rather give cash donations, please call Josiah Bruni at 951-992-0721. Random Act of Kindness will be distributing toys to over 3,000 kids this year in Riverside and San Bernardino counties. Please come by KCAA at the Carousel Mall, Suite 254, and drop off your gift from 8 a.m. until 5 p.m. Monday through Friday. For more information or to help distribute toys, call 951-992-0721. 955-992-0721.
And now it's time for another Support San Bernardino Spotlight.
Hi, my name is George Hahn. I am the Senior Minister at the Center for Spiritual Living Inland Empire. In the next few weeks, we would like to support San Bernardino by highlighting the outstanding things about our city. Today's program features Dennis Baxter from Habitat for Humanity.
Thank you, George. I'm very proud that Habitat for Humanity San Bernardino area has been serving the residents of the area since 1992, so that's 24 years of building homes and building hope. Each partner family participates in our own curriculum in the greater San Bernardino area that provides guidance and resources to a successful long-term experience as being a homeowner. We have financial literacy classes that they go through so they understand the difference between being a homeowner and being a renter. Our Brush with Kindness program helps out low-income folks with, simple chores around the house. And, of course, our Restore, located in Redlands, is a real part of our fundraising effort. So it's building homes, it's building hope. Folks can give us a call at 909-478-1176 or habitatsb.org.
This program was underwritten by Center for Spiritual Living Inland Empire. If you would like information about today's program, please contact me, Reverend George, by calling 909-883-7171. That's 909-883-7171.
For those of you traveling by air to celebrate this holiday season, LA Ontario International Airport wants you and your family to have a fun and safe trip. For your convenience,
remember, TSA travel rules are for your safety and those of others. LA Ontario International Airport reminds you to arrive early and check with your airlines for flight delays or cancellations.
ONT offers 62 daily flights to 15 nonstop western cities. This year, Santa brings your airport the Pause Pet Assisting with Smiles stress relief program. So, make sure to stop and pause a while, then sit back, relax, and enjoy your flight. For more airport information, please visit us at lawa.org.
KCAA is your CNBC News affiliate. We're the station that gets down to business.
Electric lights blow my mind, but I feel alright. I never stop, it's how we ride, coming up until we die. You catch my eye.
Welcome back. I'm Erin Brinker.
And I'm Tobin Brinker.
We are on the Brink, the morning show on KCAA AM 1050 and FM 106.5. There is a new Senate report. The makers of a $1,000 hepatitis C pill cared more about profit than patients, and this is according to a Senate report. The makers of a breakthrough drug for hepatitis C put profits before patients in pricing the $1,000 pill that cures the liver wasting disease, Senate investigators said on Tuesday. A bipartisan report from the Senate Finance Committee concluded that the California-based Gilead Sciences was focused on maximizing revenue, even as the company's own analysis showed a lower price would allow more patients to be treated. Although the report focused on just one drug that has made headlines in the last few years, the lawmakers who led the investigation said their findings are a warning about what's to come with other high-priced treatments for cancer, diabetes, Alzheimer's, and HIV. And the drug is Sovaldi.
Yes.
And Harvoni. Sovaldi came out a couple of years ago, and a full course of treatment is about $84,500.
Yeah.
A full course of treatment for Harvoni is $94,000 and change.
Yes.
Now, I think that what Gilead would say is that it's if you compare that to the cost of a liver transplant, which would which is much more expensive, then it's worth it, and all the years of doing the research, et cetera, and it is a miracle drug. I mean, it's curing people of hepatitis C.
Yeah.
Both of them are.
The government, though, says that, there are about 3 million people in the United States that have Hep C, and that Medicaid and Medicare are going to spend about $9 billion a year treating those patients, and that if we can cure them now, we can save a lot of money on the other side.
Yes.
And so the government is offering some discounts to get people these drugs, but because of the way it was priced, because of the approach that the drug manufacturer took, that it was designed for them to maximize their profits and not necessarily to help patients, and making it very hard for the government to do this because it's priced so expensively that it pushes out, there's just not enough available money to pay for it.
Well, and we talked about this as some of the challenges with the co-ops and Affordable Care Act co-ops is they're failing,
Yeah.
and a lot of it is because of some of these prices, some of these costs are just too high. And I mentioned these drugs through when we talked about this before.
Yeah.
I'm sure that this has something to do with that because these drugs and other drugs like them are just really expensive.
Well, and these are primarily people who have Hep C are baby boomers that are just entering that Medicare, Medicaid, age frame where they're getting those benefits. And this is putting a big strain on the system.
The thing about Hep C is that for a lot of years they didn't know what it was. It was called non-A, non-B hepatitis. They didn't know what it was. There was really not a test for it.
Yeah.
And it can be quiet in somebody's life for decades. Honestly, you can not show symptoms. Some people will show symptoms quicker, but others won't.
Yeah.
It may be 20, 30 years before your liver is shot, and you're thinking, oh, maybe I have a gallbladder problem, and it turns out you have hepatitis C, and you've had it for decades.
Yeah.
And unless you give blood or you're doing something where your blood would be tested for it, how would you know?
Yeah.
So, and people say, oh, yeah, well, it's just risky behavior. Not all the time. I mean, if your spouse, I'm just going to walk down this path. If your spouse cheated on you and brought home a present, then you've done nothing wrong, but here you have hepatitis C, and it could leave you in a very bad position.
Yeah. Well, the interesting thing is of course the Senator Grassley, I think, wisely recognizes that this isn't the only drug this is going to happen with, right? That we're in an era where drug manufacturers are creating sort of specialty drugs for really scary diseases.
Yes.
So if you've got Alzheimer's and they come up with a pill that you can take that could protect you or cure you, you're going to pay whatever you have to do that because that's a really scary disease. Cancer, if they came up with something you could take a pill to protect you from some cancer, you better believe people would pay.
Yes.
And so these manufacturers are going after these specialty drugs and then pricing them through the roof so they can maximize their profits. And what's interesting for me is this is not a new argument. When I was in college, I had to read Plato. And Plato talks about this very thing in creating sort of, he creates this idea of what's a perfect society, and talks about, how do you get doctors and people to do the right thing? Well, you have to have the profit motive, and it's got to be the right profit motive so that they make money by saving lives as opposed to letting you die.
Right. But it can't be so. The thing about it is, which is probably different in I don't remember that Plato example. It's been a long time since we were in college. Apparently, your memory is better than mine. But right now, the people making the decisions about whether to pay are not your doctors.
Yeah,
there's another administrator who's looking at the bottom line and saying, we can't really afford that $94,000 run of Harvoni.
Yeah, and one of the good things about Obamacare was that it allowed people with pre-existing conditions to get, insurance. And so Hep C would be one of those kinds of pre-existing conditions that in the past they might have said, oh, boy, that's an expensive one. We don't want to give you insurance because then we're going to be on the hook for all this medication and then possibly surgery and transplants. And
interferon doesn't work.
Yeah.
It does. That's the old treatment. It doesn't work.
Yeah. So at the very end of this article, they do offer a couple ideas about what they need to do to fix this problem. And one of the things they talk about is requiring the pharmaceutical industry to be a lot more transparent about what their actual costs are for creating these new drugs, and then making sure that the pricing is closer to, to give them a reasonable level of profit, but then having some sort of law that would require them to price it within a certain range of what their costs were. Now, that gets dicey, too, because we know that they will come up with crazy ways to sort of inflate what their costs were.
Sure. But here's the thing. They're private companies.
Yeah.
And, people say, well, they had a profit motive. Yeah, that's kind of why they exist. A corporation's goal, a corporation's purpose is to deliver the highest return for their shareholders. That's why they exist.
Yep.
And they're doing the work that they do to meet that end. And so how do you find a balance between them doing their fiduciary responsibility and returning the highest return to their shareholders and meeting the public demand and meeting the public need.
Yeah.
And so that's the balancing act. I think that it is important that I'm glad that Congress is looking into this and the Senate is looking into this, because we don't want people. You don't want to charge $1,000 for a bottle of water during a fire, and that's essentially what they're doing.
Well, and that's just it. Imagine the lawsuit from the family of someone who's just died from hepatitis C because they couldn't get the medicine because it was priced too expensively.
Right.
Right. And okay, so now you're going to get, and I would sue. I would totally sue if they did that to a family member of mine. If I knew that there was a cure available, but they did it in such a way that essentially only the wealthy, connected people could get the medicine.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Especially, so there's nothing that comes close to this. I mean, short of a liver transplant, which doesn't take care of the disease, it just gives you a new liver.
Yeah.
There's nothing else that comes close to Harvoni or Sovaldi.
Yeah.
Now, Sovaldi doesn't work as well as Harvoni, but some people, that's all they need.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So this is a very interesting story. I think we're going to be talking about this one for some time to come, especially as new drugs hit the market that have similar implications. But when you hear about $1,000 a pill, man.
The thing that strikes me about this is that, that after a certain number of years, drugs will go generic, which means other companies can manufacture the drugs. So which means that there's competitive pressure on the price of those drugs. Because typically, if you wanted to lower the price of one product that you make, you would increase the prices of other products to kind of offset that loss, right?
Yeah.
But they can't do that because there's downward pressure on the prices of drugs that have been around a while.
Yeah.
And also some of these smaller companies where they've spent all of their venture capital, they spent all of their money on the development of these drugs, they do have to recoup what they've spent.
Oh, I agree.
Now, whether that was $1,000 a pill is really recouping, I don't know. I mean, and they have to make a profit. Again, that's their goal. I don't know.
There's got to be a balancing act.
There has to be a balance. The knee-jerk reaction is, "Oh my God, that profit's too much," but you don't know.
Yeah.
There has to be a balance. There has to be.
And we're both pro-business people, but at the end of the day, when people's lives are on the line, I think your analogy of jacking up the price of water when there's a fire going on is pretty darn close. And there does need to be some sort of legislative oversight of this kind of process, just to make sure.
Yep.
And I think this one is on that line. They knew they were walking close to the line. I think they did it on purpose. They tried to maximize their profit,
that's what they're supposed to do. And now the Senate has stepped in and they're doing what they're supposed to do.
Exactly.
That's how it works.
Yes.
6:30, it's time for a break. I'm Erin Brinker.
I'm Tobin Brinker.
We're on The Brink, the morning show on KCAA AM 1050 and FM 106.5. We'll be right back.
Broadcasting more local radio programs than any other station in California. We are KCAA.
California headline news. Another storm moving into the state in the next day or so in a week that has seen widespread frost advisories and freeze warnings. Seems unusual, but forecasters say it really isn't.
Well, at night when you get really clear conditions and not a lot of wind, which is what we've been experiencing lately, that allows all the heat that we've gotten throughout the day to radiate back out into space.
Dina Stahl with the National Weather Service. Frosty weather broke records earlier this week with temperatures getting into the 20s in areas of Northern California. Frost advisories to the south. State Senate Democratic leader Kevin De Leon has been at the Climate Change Summit in Paris, saying he and Governor Brown are trying to bring big money back to California to further the state's position as a leader in green technology.
We believe if we are successful by doing so, we will attract the creation of more jobs. So it's not just about climate change, clean air, it's about clean energy technologies.
Geico weather, seasonal temperatures in Southern California, cool to the north with rain on the way tomorrow. Jeff Scott, California News.
Geico presents Unanswerable Questions.
Why are yawns contagious? What makes some ketchup fancy? Or the big one, why doesn't everyone switch to Geico and they could save 15% or more on car insurance? However, you could be a part of the answer by switching to Geico and saving hundreds for yourself. Money you could use to purchase bottle after bottle of the fanciest of ketchups.
Geico, the answer to savings. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more. The following is a serious Geico commercial.
Geico's been perfecting car insurance for over 75 years, and that shouldn't provoke a belly laugh. It should provoke deep admiration, like when you consider Geico's dependability, always there to provide help on the phone, online, or on the mobile app, which isn't a laugh riot. and no one would cackle at the hundreds of dollars Geico could save you on car insurance. In conclusion, you should take switching to Geico seriously, because their over 75 years of savings and service is no laughing matter.
Geico, saving people money on car insurance for over 75 years.
From the KCAA Weather Center, I'm Ron Pritchard for this morning. Sunny and a high near 76. Clear tonight with a low near 47. Sunny and 77 Thursday. Patchy fog, partly cloudy skies, a low near 46. Thursday night, Friday, patchy fog. Mostly sunny skies, a high near 66. Friday night, mostly clear, low near 41. Saturday, sunny, a high near 73. Saturday night, partly cloudy, a low near 44. Sunday, mostly sunny, high near 74. Sunday night, partly cloudy, a low near 42. Monday, mostly sunny, high near 72. Monday night, partly cloudy, a low near 44. Tuesday, sunny and a high near 74. That's your weather forecast for this hour from the station that leaves no listener behind, NBC News Radio, AM 1050, KCAA.
Hi, Leif Erickson for Snow Country. A fast start to the season for many of our mountains is helping putting last year into the rearview mirror rather quickly. We always love talking about skiing before Thanksgiving, and we have it, plus a good chance of maybe seeing some more snow in some of the higher elevations before the holiday always gets you going. Mountain High with 5 early season runs right now, going from 8:30 until 4, while Snow Summit offers up over half a dozen runs, and they've seen about 5 or 6 inches of natural snow just in the past week. Bear Mountain offering up nearly half a dozen runs as they go daily from 9 until 4. Mammoth, a great selection for early in the season with 75 runs, so all abilities finding something to do there. Arizona off to a fast start with Sunrise Park at 24 pack powder trails. Arizona Snowbowl seeing a nice 10-inch dumping of snow last week, 29 runs. More at snowcountry.com. Leif Erickson for KCAA 1050 AM and the all-new 106.5 FM, the stations that leave no listener behind.
It's time for your KCAA AM 1050 and FM 106.5 traffic report. I'm Erin Brinker. In Mira Loma, a SIG alert has been canceled on the 60 West just past Country Village Road. An injury crash has been cleared from the carpool in 2 left lanes. Traffic remains heavy from before Pyrite. In Riverside, stop-and-go traffic on the 91 westbound between McKinley Street and Green River Road. The 71 South is busy between Pine Avenue and the 91. In Corona, a disabled vehicle, the right lane is blocked on the 91 westbound approaching 6th Street/Maple Street. In Riverside, stop-and-go traffic on the 15 northbound between Ontario Avenue and Highway 91. In the Cajon Pass, an accident, the right lane is blocked on the 15 southbound after Oak Hill Road. In Lake Elsinore, an accident, the shoulder is blocked on the 15 southbound after Lake Street. A SIG alert has been cleared on the 15 southbound past Lake Street. All lanes are now open. Cleanup from an earlier tanker truck fire continues on the right shoulder. The drive is slow from Indian Truck Trail. In Chino, slow traffic on the 60 westbound between Ramona Avenue and the 57 Orange Freeway. The 10 west is slow from Mountain Avenue to the 57. The 210 west is heavy from Mountain Avenue to Foothill Boulevard. In Paris, an accident has cleared on the 215 northbound at Ramona Expressway, Cajalco Expressway. Just refreshed. In Chino, slow traffic on the 60 westbound. Read that one. Moreno Valley, slow traffic on the 215 northbound between Cactus Avenue and Blaine Street/3rd Street. The 60 west is busy between Heacock and the 215. This has been your traffic report on KCAA AM 1050 and FM 106.5. I'm Erin Brinker.
Missed something today, yesterday, last week? Check out our podcasts at www.kcaaradio.com. We leave no listener behind.
Welcome back. I'm Erin Brinker.
And I'm Tobin Brinker.
And we are on the Brink, the morning show on KCAA, AM 1050 and FM 106.5. So there was the big story, because our guest is not on the line, is he? No. All right, big story. Mark Zuckerberg welcomes a baby girl and gives away a fortune. Did you hear about this? Or did you read his long letter on Facebook yesterday?
I did not read the letter, but I did see the headline, and it struck me as odd because the amount they said he was giving away was like like almost everything, like 99% of his stock or something.
Yes. So Parenthood will do crazy things to people. For example, on the same day Mark Zuckerberg and Dr. Priscilla Chan announced the birth of their first child, they also announced they'd be giving away 99% of their Facebook stock, worth nearly $45 billion. Zuckerberg and Chan posted an extremely lengthy open letter to their daughter, Max, on Facebook Tuesday. Max, we love you and feel a great responsibility to leave the world a better place for you and all children, the letter reads. We wish you a life filled with the same love, hope, and joy you give to us. We can't wait to see what you bring to this world. It follows similar Facebook posts from the couple about their experience with multiple miscarriages and Zuckerberg's decision to take 2 months of paternity leave. Reuters reports the couple will be putting the proceeds from their Facebook stock towards their newly formed charity, the Chan Zuckerberg Initiative. The charity will work towards advancing human potential and promoting equality, starting with personalized learning, curing diseases, connecting people, and building strong communities, according to the letter. To start, Reuters reports Zuckerberg has committed to putting $1 billion of his stock toward the charity every year for the next 3 years. Wired points out the letter expounding on Zuckerberg's passion seems like it was written more for the public than for his daughter, but that's okay. We're pumped to watch the young CEO navigate the intricacies of parenthood while sitting atop one of the world's biggest companies. And, God bless him.
Yeah.
It's with great wealth comes great responsibilities. And, the last time we had the kind of income disparities that in this nation that we have right now was during the euphemistically named Gilded Age.
Yeah.
And but many of those barons gave away their fortunes as well. I mean, Carnegie, is still there's the foundation is still hard at work.
You can go to just about any city around and you'll see these little libraries, the little Carnegie libraries, and they're all built in the exact same format and paid for by the Carnegie Foundation
yes.
to make sure that cities had libraries.
And there's a Ford Foundation, there's a Rockefeller Foundation. All of these magnates put their money to work, and with that kind of wealth, you can make really cataclysmic changes.
You can and you can't. It's been interesting watching, for instance, the Gates Foundation attempt to make social change in some of the way they've spent their money. And I don't know that they've always been as successful as.
Yeah, but if you look at all of their vaccines, and when I say cataclysmic, it's really disruptive. It really is disruptive.
It is.
But you think about in Africa, Gates has been doing these vaccinations, and
it's been tremendously effective.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And it's kind of this reproductive health and that sort of thing, and it's making an impact.
Don't get me wrong. I agree that this is the right thing to do. It just strikes me as interesting is that the old robber barons from the Gilded Age tended to invest in concrete things. I'm going to give you a library. Here's a building with books. Whereas these modern billionaires who are giving away their fortune tend to be doing it in a more humanistic way, where they're investing in people. We're going to give vaccines. We're going to create a foundation that's going to change the way the education system works, and so we're going to, not buy up schools, but give money to schools and do things. They're not building schools, but they're sort of tinkering with, the way education does, and some of it seems very experimental.
But isn't that like their businesses?
Yeah.
I mean, the robber barons, as we call them, from the Gilded Age, they were building railroads. They were it was Standard Oil. It was
steel.
It was steel. It was all of these things.
Yeah.
And now all of these are tech companies, and really they're creating their wealth from the virtual world, and it's all in your head, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's all in the same space as your thoughts, so to speak.
Yeah.
And so it makes sense that they're focusing on human potential.
But some of the human potential changes that they're spending their money on, and while certainly some people are benefiting and getting that money back into the economy now, I don't think you'll see as long-term a change. You're not going to see, 500 years from now, people talking about, the Gates educational model necessarily. Whereas you might still have some Carnegie Library still standing around.
I get you. I mean, hopefully they'll be talking about the catalytic changes that he put forth. I mean, there has to be somebody who's willing to fund the experimentation to find something that works, and that's what they've decided to do.
Yeah.
And my hat's off to them. I think it's a wonderful example for their daughter. I mean, they realize that they've been immensely blessed, immeasurably blessed, and the fact that they're wanting to change the world. God bless them.
I agree.
I think that's fantastic.
It'll be interesting to see how involved they are in the decisions about how and where that money goes, though. Are they just putting it into a foundation and sort of leaving it to the quote-unquote experts?
Well, he's running Facebook.
Yeah.
So, I mean, Bill Gates eventually made the decision that he wanted to focus on his charity, and he resigned from Microsoft.
Yeah.
And so, but Zuckerberg is still running Facebook.
And he's very young, too.
Yeah, he is very young.
So it's going to be very interesting. But, I mean, that's $45 billion, Aaron.
Well, and it doesn't say that he's going to move all of that $45 billion in at once.
Yeah.
And I don't think he's doing it at once. I think he's going to roll, He's committed to spending that money to support the charity, probably over the long term.
Yeah.
And he's still going to be left with such an immense fortune.
Yeah.
He's not going to be hurting.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, even if he, gave away, like it says, 99% of the $45 billion, that would still leave his daughter to inherit $450 million.
It's a nice chunk of change.
Yeah.
And I'm sure he'll invest and grow that too.
Oh yeah.
Because that's what you do.
Yeah.
So my hats off. I mean, if let's walk down this fantasy trail, this fantasy path. If you had that kind of money, what would you do with it?
Well, we've talked about if we ever hit the lottery and stuff, and the things we'd like to do here in the community. I mean, I think obviously investing locally, and San Bernardino has had so many issues. I think my initial response would be to make investments here in town to help turn San Bernardino around. But I also would use the money to leverage some change. I mean, I think that, it wouldn't always just be my money our money that would do that. I mean, I think that, part of it is that you offer some things up, but then you make some requirements that are attached to you. You want the money, then these things have to happen. And to try to get some, and I'll use those words, a social change to sort of tinker with the way people behave a little bit.
Yep. Yeah, exactly. Yes, and the focus would be the arts. It would be, on this kind of community renaissance. It would be, talking about the city of San Bernardino, but also neighboring cities, Colton and Rialto. It would be about really attracting young families to buy their homes here, to send their kids to our schools.
And for me, I think it'd be about, buying up some neighborhoods and really making some significant changes to the infrastructure in the city, And doing it with private money as opposed to public money,
right?
To create really nice neighborhoods that would then draw people in.
And I would plant trees, lots of trees.
Yeah,
because trees sure beautify a neighborhood.
Well, and we were talking about Give Big yesterday. There are so many wonderful nonprofits in the community. I think the other part of it is that you use the existing nonprofits that are there, and you use your money by giving it out to these groups to let them do what they do well and grow and really reach more people.
Yeah, give a significant amount of money to Kim Carter, who can really make that money stretch very, very far at Time for Change Foundation, and to help get people, these women that are homeless with children, into apartments, help them get jobs and start, turn their lives around, which will then turn the community around.
Yeah. Now, of course, if you had $45 billion, you start local, but then you kind of have to start going broader.
Yes.
I mean. So I think it'd be interesting to have the conversation or think about, too, where would you go in that broader?
I think inland California. So Imperial Valley, San Bernardino, Riverside counties, Kern, Inyo, San Joaquin Valley, all the way on up. I think I would focus on those areas.
I would, too, but I think I would also focus on it in a political sense, because I feel like we've been disenfranchised as a part of the state's political culture.
We matter.
And we do matter. And I think, putting some money into some political races to get people to start to focus on inland California issues would be a big deal, because it's not there right now. All the money and all the focus is on the coast.
And that's true. There are two Californias, and it's not north and south. It's east and west. It's coastal and everybody else.
Yeah.
So it's 6:45. It's time for a break. Actually, it's 6:46. I'm Erin Brinker.
I'm Tobin Brinker.
And we are on The Brink, the morning show on KCAA AM 1050 and FM 106.5. And we'll be right back.
Your voice, your opinions, heard round the world at www.kcaaradio.com. The station that leaves no listener behind, KCAA.
Here's a look at the KCAA community calendar. I'm Di Rice. This December, visitors at the Orange Empire Railway Museum will have the opportunity to embark upon a magical train ride to the North Pole and visit Santa Claus at his workshop. Along the way, passengers can enjoy Christmas jingles, holiday trivia games, and storytelling with the elves. Then, at Santa's North Pole workshop, guests can visit with Santa and Mrs. Claus and do various craft activities, as well as enjoy refreshments. Ticket prices are $10 for ages 2 through 11 and $15 for ages 12 and up. However, seats are filling up fast, and it's strongly suggested to book quickly. The holiday event will take place Fridays through Sundays, beginning December 4th through December 20th. Call for North Pole train ride times at 951-943-3020 or visit oerm.org for the Orange Empire Railway Museum in Paris. And that's a look at the KCAA community calendar.
Your application looks great, but I'm not seeing any marketing experience.
The ad said mechanic needed.
Right, but I need a mechanic/marketing wizard. What do you know about reputation management?
Nothing.
Search engine optimization?
Is that under the hood?
Let Dex Media be your marketing department. We can help with any digital marketing solution from search to social. Contact Dex Media, that's DEX Media, to get found, get chosen, and get talked about. Call 844-230-3436 or visit dexmedia.com today.
The Colton cement plant is closed and the rail yard is expanding. Find out what's happening next in the Colton City News. Get more local news, local features, and a great calendar section full of local events for your family. The Colton City News, in print and online at coltoncitynews.com.
Are you looking for the right place to purchase your landscaping items? Well, come see us at Hydroscape. Hydroscape offers a large selection of irrigation products including Irritrol and Toro, such as their efficient precision nozzles. For 40 years, Hydroscape has been family-owned and operated, serving Southern California. With 17 locations, our knowledgeable and experienced staff is equipped to help you with all your irrigation, landscape, and outdoor living projects. Whether you're installing irrigation systems, wanting to maintain a healthy landscape, or simply create a beautiful lit space for outdoor entertaining, Hydroscape is the place to go. Visit our website at hydroscape.com for more information and find helpful articles on our blog. Or call our customer service center at 1-800-395-4477.
Miss something today, yesterday, last week? Check out our podcasts at www.kcaaradio.com. We leave no listener behind.
It's a death row pardon, 2 minutes too late. And isn't it ironic? Don't you think? It's like rain.
Welcome back. I'm Aaron Brinker.
I'm Tobin Brinker.
And we are on the Brink the Morning Show on KCAA, AM 1050 and FM 106.5. It is time for Wordplay Wednesday.
Yes, it is. I love Wordplay Wednesday. So, Aaron, I found this one that I think is great. These are 20 words, misused words that make smart people look dumb. Smart people look dumb when they use these words wrong, Aaron.
And one of them is ironic.
That's why we play that song. So let me tell you about irony. A lot of people get this wrong. If you break your leg the day before a ski trip, that's not ironic. It's coincidental and bad luck. Ironic has several meanings, all of which include some type of reversal of what was expected. Verbal irony is when a person says one thing but clearly means another. Situational irony is when a result is the opposite of what was expected. O. Henry was a master of situational irony. In the story The Gift of the Magi, Jim sells his watch to buy combs for his wife's hair, and then she sells her hair to buy a chain for Jim's watch. Each character sold something precious to buy a gift for the other, but these gifts were intended for what the other person sold. That is true irony.
And I think everybody read that in like the 8th grade.
Yes, I remember that story. And then, of course, if you break your leg before the ski trip, that's coincidental. But if you drive up the mountains to ski, but there was more snow back at your house, that's ironic. So that song, that Alanis Morissette song, most of the stuff that's in that song is not ironic.
It's not irony at all. And actually, she has. If you'll find videos of her making fun of herself because it's not irony at all that she's singing about.
But it's a great song.
It's a great song. It's a great song.
Yeah.
So here, imply versus infer. That's a big one that people mess up.
Yes. So to imply means to suggest something without saying it outright, whereas to infer means to draw a conclusion from what someone else is implied. So as a general rule, the speaker or writer implies and the listener or reader infers. And people often get those mixed up. The one that I thought was good was the words lie versus lay. Lie versus lay. And I say this because I'm a middle school teacher, and this is one of those ones that kids mess up a lot. We're all pretty clear on the fact that the word lie means an untruth. But it's the other usage that also trips us up. The word lie also means to recline, like I'm going to lie down. So they even give the example, why don't you lie down and rest? Lay, however, requires an object. In order to lay, you have to, let's say, lay a book on the table. You have to have an object. Lie is something that you can do by yourself, but you need an object in order to lay something. It gets even more confusing, though, when you start talking about the past tense, because the past tense of the word lie is... You guessed it.
Lay.
Yeah.
English is a crazy language.
It is.
I feel bad for anybody who has to learn this crazy language.
So in the past tense, you could say, I lay down for an hour last night, right? And that's the past tense. But the past tense of the word lay is laid. So I laid the book on the table. So I think that's one of those ones that just can really mess with people. And I actually teach a group of English language learners. And as you said, for people who English is not their native language, these are the kind of words that just
This
mess
is insanity.
them up. It just messes them up.
I mean, you think about it. It's insanity. It really is. It's insane.
Yeah. So why don't you give us a one here, Aaron? Do you see one there that you want to talk about?
Well, here's one that I actually have to catch myself. Nauseous versus nauseated. Nauseous has been misused so often that the incorrect usage is accepted in some circles. Still, it's important to note the difference. Nauseous means causing nausea. Nauseated means experiencing nausea. So if your inner circle includes ultra-particular grammar sticklers, never say, I'm nauseous, unless you want them to be snickering behind your back.
So it's, I'm nauseated.
I'm nauseated.
Yeah.
Yes. That is making me nauseous.
Yes.
Right?
My students made me nauseous.
Yes.
And now I am nauseated.
Exactly.
Oh.
Your students made you nauseous. They smelled that bad?
You know, after a run, Aaron.
Well, here's one too. Fewer versus less. Use fewer when you're referring to separate items that can be counted. Use less when referring to a whole. You have fewer dollars, but less money.
See, I like that example.
I do too.
That makes that one very clear. I should use that one with my students. You have fewer dollars, but
less
money.
money.
Interesting.
We did the ironic versus coincident. Bring versus take. Bring and take both describe transporting something or someone from one place to another, but the correct usage depends on the speaker's point of view. Somebody brings something to you, but you take it somewhere else. Bring me the mail, then take your shoes to the other room.
Yes. Now,
people get that mixed up all the time.
Yes. Now, there's two of them that I skipped on this list, particularly because they are very close in terms of how they sound, and obviously it's a radio show, but they're ones that people mess up because they're very close in how they sound. So you have the word accept with an A and accept with an E, right?
Yes.
Accept and accept. And I've got to really accentuate that sound so you can tell the difference.
Accept.
Yeah, and then the other one that I skipped was affect and effect. Again, I've really accentuated those sounds because often when we say them, they sound almost identical.
What about irregardless?
But, people
That's
struggle.
Not a word. It's irrespective or regardless.
What she said, people, because she's the smart one.
Oh, no.
But, yeah, it's funny that the English language has these words that we really struggle with. Even really smart people still struggle with these words. And, I remember growing up, my parents used to get the Reader's Digest, and the Reader's Digest had these wordplay games in them.
Yes.
And, you could build your vocabulary, and I really miss the fact that we don't really have something like that people can go to.
What was that? More picturesque speech or something about more picturesque speech.
Yeah.
That was the segment in Reader's Digest.
They had several.
Yes.
They had several. They had power words where they'd give you the definitions. They had a variety of different types of word games that were designed to, kind of like what this does, to let you sort of understand the language better. And I miss that. And I wish that there was something that we could get sort of regularly updating us and giving stuff like that. And that's why I like doing Wordplay Wednesday. Because
here's the thing, too. You know what? If the best way to improve your grammar and your vocabulary is to do something that not a lot of people do anymore, and that's read.
Yeah.
Reading is what helps that. Reading is what teaches you the correct usage of words. It gives you, exactly, more picturesque speech.
It's interesting, though, because I think people actually do read, but we read differently. We used to read novels and we used to read, books. And now I think people are reading a lot of stuff online, and it's more of the conversational type reading, like you're typing back and forth to a friend, text reading.
That doesn't count.
I agree.
No, in a lot of circles, it doesn't count because there's so much slang and text speak used that actually it hinders your growth.
But I suspect that if they actually did research on how many words people are saying, we're probably seeing more quantity of words, but probably not as diverse a set of words because we're not reading the different types of stuff. Does that make sense?
I'm going to take this last couple of minutes to plug the Inland Empire Children's Book Project.
Do it.
Because it is so important that we start our kids reading from the earliest age. Read to them when they're in the womb. It sounds crazy, but they can hear you. Read to your kids. Give your kids books. There's so many wonderful children's books, teen books, young adult books that will just help your child disappear into a new world, discover something new, pretend there's someone else. I mean, all kinds of great stuff. And the Inland Empire Children's Book Project, their goal is to get books in the hands of kids. It's a 100% volunteer organization, and all they do is give books to teachers. Teachers will come in and shop at the warehouse, and I put shop in quotes because it's all free, but they're picking the developmentally appropriate books for their students, and then they give them to the students for the students to take home.
So I have to share this quick story with you. As you know, I got some books from the Inland Empire Children's Book Project to give out to my students, and they loved them. And I told my students about what the Inland Empire Children's Book Project does. And one of my students came to me right before the Thanksgiving break and said, Mr. Brinker, I have a bunch of children's books at home, and I asked my mom if we could donate them.
Oh, that's awesome.
And I said, oh, that'd be great. So when I showed back up at work on Monday after the Thanksgiving break, in walks this girl with this big box of books.
Oh, that's fantastic.
So I have them sitting in my classroom, and because I've been running every day after school, I haven't had a chance to sort of carry them out to the car, but I will, and we'll get them over to the Inland Empire Children's Book Project. And it's a great thing. If you've got extra children's books in your home and your kids are all grown up.
All the way up to age 18.
Yeah.
So, I mean, all age groups.
You can contact Darren and I on our Facebook, on the social media here at the studio, and we'll
come get them.
We'll come get them.
It is 6:59. We're at the end of our show. I'm Erin Brinker.
I'm Tobin Brinker.
And we are on The Brink, the morning show on KCAA AM 1050 and FM 106.5. Have a great day, everybody.
This is 1050 AM KCAA Loma Linda and KCAA FM Yucaipa 106.5 FM.
I'm Chris Maurer, CNBC Business Radio. All eyes are focused on the upcoming government jobs report due out on Friday. That's because the results could either make or break a December interest rate hike. But today, a warm-up from ADP, the payroll processor, says private companies added jobs at a solid pace in November. Firms contributed a better-than-expected 217,000 positions for the month. Shares of Yahoo jumping on reports from the Wall Street Journal. The company's board will discuss selling the flagship internet business, but Recode says the reports are greatly exaggerated, and this is just a regular meeting where many options will be discussed. And the paper is also reporting the European Union could announce it's investigating McDonald's as part of a widening investigation into alleged illegal tax deals. The Journal says an announcement could come as soon as tomorrow. Chris Maurer, CNBC.
There are no guarantees in love, but there is a guarantee from EH Plus by eHarmony, our new personal matchmaking service. At EH Plus, your own personal matchmaker gets to know you so well, we can guarantee introductions that will be satisfying and exciting. EH Plus goes far beyond regular online dating sites, and that's a guarantee. Visit us at ehplus.com/love or call 1-855-930-LOVE.
Are you ready to take your diabetes management to the next level? Put the Contour Next meter to the test and challenge your meter. The Contour Next meter makes testing easy and highly accurate with close to lab level results. And Contour Next gives you a second chance, allowing you to reapply to the same strip when the first sample is not enough, saving you time and money. So take the challenge. Go to ContourNextChallenge.com, get a free meter, and enter to win free test strips. Contour Next. Accuracy you can trust.
Your application looks great, but I'm not seeing any marketing experience.
The ad said mechanic needed.
Right, but I need a mechanic/marketing wizard. What do you know about reputation management?
Nothing.
Search engine optimization?
Is that under the hood?
Let Dex Media be your marketing department. We can help with any digital marketing solution from search to social. Contact Dex Media, that's DEX Media, to get found, get chosen, and get talked about. Call 844-230-3436 or visit dexmedia.com today.
With your Wednesday news, I'm Jim Miller, CNBC News, KCAA 1050 AM and 106.5 FM, the station that leaves no listener behind. A Murrieta Valley High School teacher has been placed on administrative leave while she's being investigated for inappropriate contact with a student. The teacher being investigated by the Murrieta Police Department, Murrieta Valley High School principal, says notified the parents, teacher's name being withheld because she has not been arrested or charged with a crime. The Jerry L. Pettis Memorial VA Medical Center sent letters to more than 1,700 patients asking them to be tested for tuberculosis, as they may have been exposed to the bacterial infection while being treated there. Letters went to some patients treated at the Loma Linda VA between June 1st and October 27 who may have had contact with an employee who is now being treated for tuberculosis. The risk of exposure of the general public, not a public health concern. An unidentified Redlands woman killed in a head-on crash with a tractor trailer along Highway 395 in Adelanto over the weekend. Late Sunday night, the unidentified 68-year-old driving a car north on Highway 395 north of Desert Flower Road when the vehicle crossed over the double yellow lines under the path of a tractor trailer. She was taken to Victor Valley Global Medical Center where she later died. A passenger was taken to the same hospital, but that person's condition not released. Los Angeles police tried to determine if a 15-year-old girl was the victim of a kidnapping in South Los Angeles. According to officials, the girl said she was kidnapped, drugged, and sexually assaulted by a man she met at a fast food restaurant in South Los Angeles overnight. She reportedly was heard screaming at an apartment. Neighbors apparently went to aid her. That's your news. I'm Jim Miller, CNBC. KCAA 1050 AM and 106.5 FM, the station that leaves no listener behind.
It's time for your KCAA AM 1050 and FM 106.5 traffic report. I'm Erin Brinker. In Riverside, we have stop-and-go traffic on the 91 westbound between McKinley Street and Green River Road. East is slow and go from Adams Street to Central Avenue. The 71 south is busy between Pine Avenue and the 91. In Murrieta, we have stop-and-go traffic on the 15 southbound between the 215 and the 79 south Temecula Parkway. In Moreno Valley, stop-and-go traffic on the 215 northbound between Cactus Avenue and University Avenue. The 60 west is busy between Heacock and the 215. In Ontario, slow traffic on the 60 westbound between the 15 and the 57 Orange Freeway. The 10 west is slow from Ramona Avenue to the 57. The 210 west is heavy from Mountain Avenue to Foothill Boulevard. In Riverside, slow traffic on the 15 northbound between Temesco Canyon Road and Highway 91. In Corona, slow traffic on the 15 northbound between Hidden Valley Parkway and Harupa Street. South is busy in patches between the 210 and the 60. In Paris, slow traffic on the 215 northbound between Nuevo Road and Harley Knox Boulevard. This has been your KCAA AM 1050 and FM 106.5 traffic report. I'm Erin Brinker.
This report has been brought to you by Unbound. At Unbound, they believe in the potential of an educated child to change the life of her family, her community, and our world. Learn more at unbound.org.
KCAA is your CNBC News affiliate. We're the station that gets down to business.
He has been a professional money manager for the last 18 years. He is a regular contributor to the Fox Business Channel and Bloomberg Radio. In addition to this, he is a regular contributor to TheStreet.com and MarketWatch.com. Now he's live here on the Wall Street Business Network. Here is Bill Gunderson.
And welcome to the Wednesday morning, December the 2nd edition of the Best Stocks Now Radio Hour with professional money manager Bill Gunderson, president of Gunderson Capital Management in San Diego, California, as far away from Wall Street as we could get. And I like it that way. We have a quiet day so far. We're awaiting Miss Yellen. You know, when Miss Yellen speaks, it moves markets mightily. But in the meantime, the NASDAQ's up. Let's start there. The NASDAQ is up 14 points right now. We'll take that. The NASDAQ is at 5,170. The Dow is down 1.5 points. That works out to 0.01%. It's at 17,880.